day, the day I was born. My purpose is to guide you. This is Phenomenology Club. This is a comprehensive curriculum of learning materials designed with the purpose of strengthening your perspective by providing you with the tools with which it can examine itself. Phenomenology is the study of the structures of consciousness. We here have devoted ourselves to its study because if we know anything, it is that life is only lived through the vehicle of perception. That is why, if we ever truly wish to know anything about the world we live in, we must first seek to know ourselves. We must seek to know how we know the world, and that can only be achieved by gaining a deeper understanding of the actual processes by which we process information. That is phenomenology.
This public broadcast is brought to you by,
as well as contributions from our sponsor Fleshlight 3017, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
Bye, Buttress.
Hello. Welcome to Phenomenology Club. My name is No. I'm an abstractist level 22. This means that I've completed 22 phenomenological qualification courses. Each and every one of our episodes is equal to 1 phenomenological certification credit. And that means that, assuming you stick around to the conclusion of today's discussion, you will all have become level 2 abstractists. Congratulations. Members, please be sure to check the club website where you can print your honorary certificate. For those of you who are not yet members, welcome. We are so glad you joined us here today. We sincerely hope that you'll become a part of our family. All of these videos are free for public viewing, but please be aware that if you would like to download our supplementary study materials, meditation guides, original music from today's episode and future episodes, as well as receive homework grades on our club assignments, you can do so at any time by becoming a member at the link provided in the video description. The best part? It's only $1 a month. All of our collected funds go right back into making our content materials, as well as help aid in the research of our founder, Buttress, who, as some of you may know, has recently disappeared. Yes, the rumors are true. Nobody, not even us, know where she went. But we do not fear, and we encourage you not to fear as well, for we believe confidently that this disappearance was an act of Buttress's own volition. This belief is partially supported by the fact that she so graciously and amazingly was able, by some unknown quantum process, to create a perfect and finite copy of her own consciousness, which lives over here in this television. Buttress too, you met her a little bit ago. She's kind of crazy. And it is under the guidance and supervision of Buttress too that we will all embark together, hand in hand, confidently on our phenomenological journey. We know that the ways of Buttress are mysterious, and we do not yet know the plan she has for us, but we know that she has them. At least, we think we know she has them. And we anxiously await the day that she will return, like Zarathustra, to the marketplace, to share with us all she's learned. What a beautiful day that will be. Enough. Let's get down to business. What is Phenomenology Club? Well, we all know what a club is, right? If you don't, go bye. We know what a club is. A group of people gathered together for one purpose, right? To do a thing, right? That's what we are all here doing. A thing together with one purpose. One purpose, right? 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 Yes. So, we know why we are a club. Why are we Phenomenology Club? What is phenomenology? Buttress 2 did offer us a definition not long ago, but it was weird and vague and sort of unsettling. Regardless, let's look to it. Buttress 2 said that phenomenology is a study of the structures of consciousness. Great, you may be wondering. That's cool, but why is this not Psychology Club? Psychology is a study of the structures of consciousness. What is phenomenology? What sets it apart? While it is true that both psychology and phenomenology do represent studies of conscious thought, phenomenology is the study of conscious thought from a lived, first-person perspective.
And here, let us look at the word phenomenology itself, from the Greek phenomenon, that which appears, and of course, logos, study, the study of that which appears. For a thing to appear, it has to have not been previously known. In this way, the phenomenologist is trying to uncover things about the phenomena of experience. Psychology works within a rigorous framework of science and previous research and measurable outcomes, whereas phenomenology is concerned with the phenomena of experience, and that is why it is studied from a first-person perspective, because clearly the only insight we can have into understanding the phenomena of experience has to come from the experience of experiencing.
Now, I know some of you may be feeling a little intimidated in the face of such a seemingly convoluted concept, and others may be thinking, what is the point of all these arbitrary distinctions, because you're just giving a bunch of speak that means nothing. I am not, and I will tell you why I am not. Just stick with us. Please. I assure you that we are not some type of whimsical consciousness creates reality types. No, they meet down the hall on Wednesdays. This is Phenomenology Club. We're gonna get deep as fuck. So, how do we study our own modes of consciousness through our lived first-person perspective? Clearly, if we are to be a rigorous science, then like any other rigorous science, we must do lots and lots of experimentation. How do we experiment on perspective? Through the use of substance, of course. We, all of us, have our own baseline perspective. At least it appears to us to be that way. My mind appears to be naturally sober, and in its sober state, it perceives things one way. But when I ingest a substance, my mind perceives things a different way. So, clearly, this will be very useful in our phenomenological studies. We will get more specific into the modes of these experimentations later. But for now, it is time in our lesson where we ingest our amphetamine. So please, do so at this time. Speed. Life is short, and it seems that the longer it goes on, the faster it goes.
If only you could go just a little slower, so we could have more time in this beautiful and amazing place to explore the legitimacy of all these connections we perceive in our impressions of the world. I like speed because I perceive that it helps me make these connections faster and more efficiently. And when I stay awake for 3-4 days on end, I begin to hallucinate, and I begin to see new connections that I did not see before. And here I have a whole new set of data to reflect on, and wonder whether it reflects any truths of reality or whether it is useless. I do not necessarily trust my own perception of it. I stay here and ponder these things for long periods, in this beautiful place, when I could be dreaming in my sleep, and I love that place, but I love this place more. But here I retain my agency. I do not elongate my complete natural life, no, but I do elongate my conscious life. Here in this place I am also dreaming, but as I do, I dream awake. Amen.
The amphetamine is kicking in. It seems to me that my auditory sensorium is undergoing some sort of distortion process. I'm excited. I think soon I will be at the optimum ideal for getting a little deeper into the meat of our discussion. So as we wait for it to fully kick in, let's do an exercise, one that I like to do often here at Phenomenology Club, to get our creative juices flowing a little bit. Let's do some word association.
Let's do some word association. I'm going to say a word, and I want you to respond with the first word that comes into your head. Are you ready? Let's go. 0, 5, art, good, doom, existence, Adderall, species, rape, demon, degradation, intense, oh my god.
It's like a game. Impairment, seizures, mood swings.
What am I doing? I am sitting in a room. How do I know? Well, I know what a room is. I appear to be in one. And I know what sitting is. I appear to be doing it here in this room. Therefore, I think it is reasonably safe to conclude that I am here sitting in a room. Right? Psychology tells me I'm right. Psychology tells me that I think I am sitting in a room because I know I am sitting in a room. Because I am sitting in a room. Psychology tells me that I am functioning as normal. But clearly, there is a problem here. For we already know that just because I think I am here sitting in this room, because I perceive myself to be sitting in this room, I am not necessarily sitting in this room. I have no objective proof that I am sitting in this room. For even if I were to gather the whole scientific community to come here and prove to me that I am sitting in this room, I cannot verify that the scientific community even exists, or that I exist, or that I am here in this space, sitting in this room. We all know this already. We've all seen The Matrix. Just because I think I am here sitting in this room does not mean I am sitting in it. My perception can be false. I could be in some test tube, or I could be here but actually standing over there, looking at myself, butt naked, holding a knife. Who knows? This could be a dream, a hallucination. I could be mentally ill. I don't really know that I am here sitting in this room. But can I know? The answer is no. Wow, what a stark realization. It is easy to see how so many feel defeated in the face of it. Is that what we will do? Become defeated in the face of this mental dissonance that arises out of the realization that we might never be able to actually truly know anything? No. We will make a decision, or at least I will, for that is what I naturally do. But I do not want to assume. So let me ask myself, is this what I naturally do? Does my brain naturally seek to reason? It appears that it does. The degree to which my brain is always computing data and weighing statements against each other and coming to conclusions about what statements seem to be more true seems to me to be almost a bit of an unconscious process even. But does that mean that it is natural? Do humans naturally seek to know things? Why are we here? Why are we here at Phenomenology Club? Why do we get together and talk about things? I am not sure. But let us look now at this quote by Edmund Husserl, our beloved forefather of philosophical thought, the inventor of phenomenology itself. He says that the goal of philosophy is to teach us to carry on the eternal work of humanity. Now, if your rational thinking alarms have begun to go off a little bit, good, they should be. Because this idea that Husserl has just introduced to us, this idea that humans philosophize and reason because it is the eternal work of humanity, which is nothing but some vague descriptor for some implied, quantum phantom impulse that all humans share to reason for no reason except that we just do it. This concept does seem, at first presentation, to be quite, dare I say it, mystical. And that upsets us, because here at Phenomenology Club, we do not wish to ever appear, not even for one moment, to be mystical. For it is our conviction that just as Nietzsche described the Christians in his genealogy of morality to be ascetic humans, we too think that the mystics are ascetic humans. For the mystics, when confronted with this other idea that we were just discussing, this realization that humans might not in fact ever be able to truly know anything, the mystics rejoice. And the reason the mystics rejoice is because the mystics really do not wish to know anything. For the mystics don't believe themselves capable of knowing anything. That's why they too are ascetic humans. And instead of creating gods for themselves that know everything while they know nothing, they create systems of knowing. Astrology, tarot, crystal worshiping. These systems know about things, but we cannot hope to know about these things because these are matters of the spirit. And there are matters of the spirit and there are matters of science, according to the mystics. The mystics wish to further this divide that already exists between the thing that they call matters of the spirit versus these matters of science or observable realities. And that is why we here at Phenomenology Club perceive ourselves to be the enemies of the mystics. For we believe that these things that they refer to as matters of the spirit can potentially be articulated by means of a science, because there is no indication to believe that they could never. We regard phenomenology as a science, but a science that exists separately of all the others. For it is not just a study, it is a study through lived perspective. And in this way, it has not yet properly articulated to itself all the modes by which we perceive things to be true. And as we go about trying to articulate a phenomenological model to serve as a science by which we can make observations about our own conscious experiences of being, we do not wish to disqualify any of these things that are called matters of the spirit. Intuition, feelings, sensations, all of these things, we believe, carry valuable data, even if they might not be valuable in and of themselves, though we do not assume they are or aren't. But even if they are not, they are still valuable because we are not just studying the structures of consciousness, we are studying the structures of consciousness from our own perspective. So, when my intuition, for example, relates to me a feeling that I feel to be in conflict with something that I think I know to be true in the actual world, I will not necessarily disregard it. No. I will consider this phenomenal. And with this idea in mind, let us go back to what we just read by Husserl a moment ago, when he said that it is the eternal work of humanity to reason. While it is true that within the already established modes of logic, through philosophy, through the natural sciences, that to believe this, that humans reason because they do so naturally, that does require faith according to these modes of logic. This is not necessarily true within our phenomenological framework, for at present, our phenomenological framework suggests nothing to us except that we think we know things. Descartes said, "I think, therefore I am." We say, "I think, therefore I think I know something," and probably am. Maybe. Let me try to illustrate a little clearer the concept that I'm trying to relate to you here. Stephen is sitting in a room. Does Stephen know he is sitting in a room? Most people would say, no, Stephen does not know he is sitting in a room, for Stephen is a rabbit, and as a rabbit, he has not articulated to himself any concepts by which he could define sitting or a room. He has no working definition of either of these things. So, to many, they would say, Stephen is not aware that he is sitting in a room. But we here at Phenomenology Club believe that that statement, Stephen does not know he is sitting in a room, relies on a huge assumption. The assumption being that Stephen can only know he is sitting in a room by way of articulating it to himself through language. The sum of our phenomenological experiences cannot be quantified through language alone. Language only defines the contours of what we are feeling at any given moment. It does not ever describe the sum of our experience.
To me, is an image, a symbol. Her touch is immaculate.
Are you beginning to see why we might need something like phenomenology? How are you feeling? You look a little tired. Good. That means the program is working. I know the program works, and you'll find this too if you stay committed. But what exactly are we working towards? In a few moments, once you've completed this first session with us here today, you will have become an abstractus level 2. Why do we call ourselves abstractus? We call ourselves abstractus because abstraction is the singular most important mechanism of action in all of our interactions with the external world. What is language? Abstraction. A set of symbols that point to a thing, a concept that only lives inside all of our individual heads. When we share our feelings with each other, we do not experience each other's feelings directly. We use language to try to point to how we are feeling. I am feeling sad today. As we encounter all these objects of our experience in our day-to-day lives in the external world, we never experience them directly. We only experience our conscious abstraction of these external objects. Abstraction is the mode of all human interaction, all human endeavor. Abstraction is the mode of everything. Our consciousness is at all times reaching out. It always has intent. And although it does not seem like we will ever be able to truly escape our own perceptive mode and truly know a thing, perhaps we could still see things more clearly. And even if truths are only found in isolated incidences, and not ever in some bigger context, we still want to find them. Because that is what we naturally do. Before Buttress left, she taught me this song, and I'm going to teach it to you. Let it serve as a reminder, as you encounter all these objects of your experience every day, to never put full trust in your own perception, for that is self-limiting. Instead, turn the focus of your consciousness back in on itself. Try to analyze your own modes of perception, even if the only tools you have to do that with were ones that were built for you. Always be wondering, always be self-examining. Is my perception of this thing accurate? What factors is it being influenced by? Can I trust my own impressions of the world? How can I keep them in check?
At any given moment, 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 at any given moment,
at any given moment, I am perceiving only all the objects of my direct experience, and though I perceive them directly, I do not put full trust in my sensory perception of them. Cause though I trust my own integrity, I don't yet grasp the meanings of these objects of my experience. We study phenomenology to observe our own consciousness, to learn in this world without it. Amen.
At any given moment, 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 at any given moment,
at any given moment, I am perceiving only all the objects of my direct experience, and though I perceive them directly, I do not put full trust in my sensory perception of them. Cause though I trust my own integrity, I don't yet grasp the meanings of these objects of my experience. We study phenomenology to observe our own consciousness, to learn in this world without it. Amen. Amen. Music. Why do we enjoy it so much? We don't even totally know. Whatever modes of perception that give us such visceral reactions to art, to music, these are the modes that we find especially fascinating, because we have not yet articulated them through language, nor do we even know if it would be possible. In many ways, art is the phenomenological language. Art, like phenomenology, seeks to understand the modes of abstraction, because in this way, we make better art. I'm just going to go ahead and stop myself right there, because next session is in fact all about the arts. Here at Phenomenology Club, we have a great interest in the arts. Speaking of next session, I will be posting the homework assignment on the website, and I will personally grade anyone's assignment. I am leaving now, but there is one more exercise, so please stay tuned to make sure that you achieve your Abstractus Level 2 status. The exercise is a little peculiar in that there are no instructions. Try your best to figure it out. Think about what we've learned today. As you go through, don't even try to articulate for yourself with language some rules that you think might be there. Think about your perceptual response. And remember all that we talked about here today. Language is not always necessary to comprehend a thing. If anything, maybe language hinders our perceptual response to certain stimuli. Language is a thing to be overcome, and our modes of perceptual abstraction are ever the objects of our logical inquiries. See you next time at Phenomenology Club.